So what's up everybody, and welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, consider hitting that subscribe button. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to do a review of Netflix's Kiss the Ground documentary that just got released recently. Now if you haven't seen that documentary, I highly recommend it. Why? Because I agree with about 90% of it. It brings awareness to a different type of farming that most people haven't heard of yet. So on that note, it's very, very good. Its explanation about sequestering carbon and returning it to the soils is probably the best that I've heard, and explained in the most simplest of terms. And that's exactly what we're doing here. Check it out. They were here, these cows were here yesterday. Moved on here yesterday and now eating. I'm still trying to figure out exactly how much they're eating. It's usually 2 days per paddock that I have them in. But you come over here and you see the paddock that they came from and how they knocked the grass down. But you see, this piece of grass here is going to rest for at least 60 days minimum, and it's going to give it a chance to regrow. Instead of letting the cow go back and eat the immediate regrowth, it's going to have a chance to stay in its growth stage the longest. And when you see where they're going to tomorrow, you'll see what I mean about sequestering carbon. You see here, they're blocked off with an electric fence and an energizer right there. But look how tall the grass is. And it's deep, it's thick, it's lush, it's very nutritious for the cows. And these ones here are going to be able to get to it tomorrow. But they don't have it today, because their job is to knock everything down here. What do you think, Yoli? Did they do a good job? I think so. I think so. So on that explanation, it hits a home run. And like I said, overall, it's a great film. But I want to tell you where it misses and why it misses. You see, in the film, they tend to demonize farmers. In it, they talk about how the farmers don't know their soil and how they're resistant to learn about it and resistant to change. And in the film, it tries to push them towards change. But in reality, the film doesn't need to push the farmer towards change, it needs to push the consumer. You see, it completely ignores the laws of supply and demand. This way of farming takes longer and a lot more management to produce this product. So what incentive does the farmer have to change his ways of farming? Well, there's a couple. This way of farming produces more grass, which means that you can have more cows, which means that you can produce more beef. And also, like the film says, it's much better for the ground, it's much better for the soil, it's much better for the earth. But is that enough incentive for the average farmer to change over to this new regenerative way of doing things? For some, yes, that's enough, but for most, probably not. You see, the way that we're doing things here, we're not trying to go around and force the farmers to farm like us and tell us, hey, you know what, shove it down their throat and say, look, you got to farm this way because it's better for this, that, and the other reason. We're not doing that. I'm not going to my neighbors and saying, hey, you know what, you should be moving your cows every day, you should be doing it this way. You know, I'm not going to the crop people saying, oh, you shouldn't be doing whatever this way. Why? Because that's not going to work, and I'm sure some of the neighbors around here think I'm crazy as it is for doing this style of farming. But what I can do is lead by example. When people see what we're doing, when people come and see our pastures, they're going to go, okay, there's something different here. Why? Because their pastures don't look like ours. Ours are more productive, have more grass, better grasses, a bigger variety of grasses, and our cows look amazing. Now the film can't lead by example. What the film is to do is to educate people. And it goes back to the law of supply and demand. You see, if farmers started to change over this way, and they didn't have a market to sell this grass-fed and finished beef, then what's the point? If they're gonna make the same amount of money doing the old way as to this way, what incentive do they have to change? They have to make a buck. It's their way of making a living, and it's been probably for years and years and years. But if the film focused more on the benefits of eating this way and educating the consumers, then and only then will the demand for this type of food start to rise. What I can guarantee you is that the farmers will come through and start increasing the supply. But what the consumers need to realize is that quality is going to cost you. And there's a reason why that steak at Walmart is so cheap, and that chicken at Walmart is so cheap. And that's because it lacks the quality. There's a reason why that there's a dollar menu at McDonald's. There's a reason why that at Taco Bell it's 69 cents for a taco. What it all comes down to is you get what you pay for. You see, right now, consumers are spending the lowest percentage of their income on their food, and it's showing. The shift needs to change. Why? Because you think you're buying cheaper food, but you know what? You're gonna pay for it in the end, and that's through quality of life and medical bills. So you're gonna pay for it either way. Either you pay for it and feel good, or don't pay for it and pay for it later when you feel bad. The difference that this food makes when you eat it is remarkable. I mean, there's a difference between a homegrown carrot. It's sweet and tastes like candy as opposed to one that you buy in the store. That was in a monoculture and sprayed with probably every pesticide known to man. So when the shift starts happening and more people want to buy this food and eat this way and see that, you know what, it's really the only way forward, the farmers will follow, the farmers will come through. You see, the business model that the film's trying to push is like Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. No, that doesn't work. Why? Because there's too much risk there. What it should be is have the consumers come to you and ask them what they want you to build, and then build it. That's why the CSA model works so well for small farmers. And if you don't know what that is, that means community supported agriculture, to where people come and pre-buy from the farmer, so the farmer doesn't have to take all the risk and have to put in all the input costs right up front just to try and sell the product. The product is already sold before they start producing it. And if consumers do it this way, they usually get a much better price. Or if they buy in wholesale, like they buy a half a beef or a whole beef. You see, from the farmer or rancher's point of view, there's a lot of cost and a lot of risk that goes into it. One of the jokes that go around the ranching community is how to make $1 million ranching. You start with $2 million. Now, is the joke true? If you do it smartly in the way that we're doing it, no, by no means at all. So if you want to get involved with this and really bring real change, what can you do? Go to your local farmer and buy directly from them. Why? Because it puts more money into their pocket, keeps money in the community, reduces their risk, and you'll probably be getting the best price for it. I've said this time and time again on here, you have to know your farmer. You know your doctor, you know your dentist, you know your hairdresser, but do you know your farmer? Most of the time, it's a no. If you did, you'd be able to see where your food has come from, how it's produced, and you know what, you can probably ask the farmer, hey, if you do it this way, I'll buy from you. That'll take a lot less pressure and risk off them, and then it'll incentivize them to start making a change. Why? Because they have a product to sell, and they run a business, so they need to be able to sell their product. And if you can show them, hey, this is a better way to do it, you'll make more money, and you already have a market for it, watch what will happen. You gotta believe in the farmers and believe that, you know what, when the demand's there, they'll be there with the supply. So with that, hit that subscribe button down below to see more videos. Ring the notification bell so you can get alerted when we put up a new one. Hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm and drop a comment if you like. All right, until next time, see ya.